Mean Streets, one thing that really kind of stood out to me was obviously how it fitted well in with the name of the movie. Obviously, it's Mean Streets. The first predominant half of it is focusing on night and in the cars and streets and stuff. And there was also a lot of violence associated with all the stuff that happened on the streets and the cars and stuff. Uh, um, Another thing was the darkness. Every time it focused on Charlie, it was like it wasn't that dark. And when it got to the scene where the guy's bargaining with Charlie to get money, I felt like, although that was really significant because it kind of showed his transition into kind of, do I really want to be here? Do I really not want to be here? It's kind of too long. I kind of felt, because I was watching it and I was thinking kind of more of a clip of a movie rather than this trailer, thinking this is kind of long. Also, one other thing is that as soon as it hit kind of like the woman, the love interest, everything got brighter. The scenery changed from day to night, from night to day. It was all sunny and beautiful. And I'm like, oh, I want to be here instead of being back there killing everyone. And it hit with the stereotypes quite well. And one thing I didn't like was the audio narrator thing. It sounded like one of those audio description things, which I don't really mind, which was then when it got to the critics, it drowned out what that character was saying. I felt like that would have been important to hear what they would have said. And at the beginning, I thought that was good because it kind of pointed out, this is Tom, this is so and so, and then focusing on Charlie. I felt like maybe that shouldn't be dragged out too long because then I was thinking, okay, it's about all of them, but it's actually just about him, and it's a bit misleading. Other than that, I think it's quite a good movie. Trailer. It's quite interesting, it's quite different. It's all about changing in a way, but it fits in with the stereotype, but it doesn't at the same time. Reservoir Dogs trailer was really interesting because it was unlike any of the other stereotypical different kind of gangster trailers that you see. I kind of felt like this was kind of like a mockery in a way because it was really light-hearted and the music kind of just like enforced that kind of like mockery in a way. You could tell that there was some parts that were serious, with the whole kind of the guy dragging the girl out of the car and then shooting. But then I felt like the next scene where the guy was saying "bam bam," I thought that, yeah, it was really comedic in a way, and I liked the way that it kept transitioning. I quite like the brick scene because that's like unlike any other thing. It's really Central Pacific. So if anyone else would like, if you saw this trailer in like a 10 minute span of all these other different movies, that would be the one that would probably stand out the most because of that. Also, the narrator at the end is kind of like is very characteristic of trailers at that time. The same kind of this is so and so, this is so and so, and this is a movie by so and so. I mean, that's what happens now, but the guy's voice is very monotone, like, oh, this is blah blah blah, this is Tim Ross, this is blah blah blah. It's interesting. But yeah, another thing, it kind of looked a bit amateur, the way we had the little font coming up saying every dog has its day, which I thought was a good opening. But then as you kind of realised it didn't really, I felt like it didn't really fit in with the theme of the movie. It was kind of like mockery, which I understand, but the font didn't really echo that in any way. But I felt like, yeah, it's good. I liked it. This one was for Pulp Fiction, and although the title isn't really revealed until the end, you get the sense of seriousness, but also a sense of a comedy kind of feel to it. Um, I think one thing that kind of made a difference is right at the beginning they had the different awards and titles that the film had received. I feel like that was really different because you don't really get it, and I guess maybe the film was aimed towards those who tend to go what the critics say. So obviously this must have done really well because it kind of fitted in that genre, but it kind of didn't. Another thing is that the switches in the music happen quite often. Like you have that music which everybody knows, but I can't remember off the top of my head at the beginning. Yeah, up until the loyalty bit. Because then up until that point, you think he's just focused on the guy that John Travolta's playing, but then afterwards you kind of realise that it's slightly different because after that point, you get Uma Thurman, I think it is, and the music kind of goes all sultry and stuff. And then there's another point where the guy says something about concentration, and it switches up dramatically, and that's when the comedic feel really starts to kick in. And yeah, keeping in with the thing is very different and very um, singular in that way because there's not many people that would watch type of movie that is kind of to do with heists and stuff. But then I didn't really kind of understand how gangsters kind of feel to it, other than the fact that they were shooting each other and perhaps that they were given this job by somebody else. Then afterwards, I didn't really get how all the other people kind of filtered into the story, because towards the end there were other people like, I mean, you had Bruce Willis that was constant figure in red in the salon and a bar and that kind of typical things you associate with a gangster movie, and that kind of underground kind of black and white suit kind of thing, that they've got some kind of authority, and you kind of see that with the way that John Travolta changes his hairstyle halfway through. So at the beginning he's looking in the mirror and he's kind of debating, but then his hair is kind of down at that point, and then it goes up, and then it goes down, and then he moves the sides and the parting and stuff, and that kind of show, and I guess that kind of shows like the difference in perhaps maybe his character changes. I don't know, but yeah, it was really interesting because it was really different, and I probably would watch it.